closer to the middle. Um, One of the things that, and if you got your emails, I sent the lesson to your email if you got your email. One of the things as a young person, and if you don't overcome it when you're young, your flesh, your heart can love God, and your flesh could want to destroy that. And it's a war that goes on the inside of a person when their heart love God, but they find out, because when I got saved, I thought your Holy Ghost, your flesh got the Holy Ghost too. I didn't know the Holy Ghost was a whole different member of your body. And something that controls you the majority of your life, your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, and it had to connect to a master, just like your heart and your spirit have to connect to a master. So the separation is when you get saved, your heart and your spirit can connect to God, but your flesh still want to connect to the devil. And then it creates a war on the inside of you, even though your heart, you really want to live for God. So everybody has a battle, and it depends on who you feed the most. My lesson this morning, know when you need help in your flesh. Romans 7 chapter, begin reading at the 11th verse.
For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good. Was then that which is good made death unto me?
Now understand, Paul is saying, you need to understand the thing that is good to you, you need to know that it's death unto you. He said if it's good to you, it's going to kill you. Read that 13th verse again.
Was then that which is good made death unto me? God forbid. But sin, that might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceedingly sinful.
Now what's deceiving is, and what Paul is saying here, he's saying, Lord, let me see it like it is. Let me see that the thing that's good to me is death to me. And let sin appear as sin to me. Don't let me look at sin and look at it as some pleasurable thing for my flesh. And he said, but sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me. He said, Lord, let me see sin, just like it is, sin, and that is working death in me by that which is good. He said, what you're satisfying your flesh is killing you. He said, let me see it. Don't let me look at something and it's good to my flesh, but it's killing me the whole time. He said, let me see it as it is. That which is good made death unto me, God forbid, but sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good. He said, Lord, let me see it. That thing that's good to my flesh. Let me look at it. If y'all know how I talk about Samson, when Delilah finished with him, how was it? What condition he was in? Bald-headed, blind, and weak. If he could have saw what was in that woman, if he could have just saw, all he saw was what he liked, what he wanted. But when she finished with him, the man of God was bald-headed, blind, and weak. And it eventually, to me, he committed suicide. You know, when he pushed the pillars apart and killed all the enemies, he killed himself too. You know, now, and all that was satisfying his flesh. He had something with God, and he couldn't see that this woman was sent, or this thing was sent to him to take away what God had gave him. You need to see sin as sin, and you need to see the thing that you call yourself satisfying your flesh is really death to you. Them kids can't even see that music is death to them. It's just music, and it lingers. Even when you turn the music off, it's still lingering in your head, it's in your spirit, and you don't know it's killing you softly. It's pulling you further and further away from God, pulling you to what? Death. In the lasciviousness of the flesh and your thought pattern. If you could see it as it is. Now, I'll tell you one thing. When you do get in the spirit, God lets you see things. He lets you see. You just got to be a person that he can able to show you things and he say, shut up. Because you can't be walking around and just, you cannot tell a person who can't see themselves, you know what? The devil in you. Man, and because they're a human being. And they don't care. They ain't going to believe it because they ain't growling. And what's the enemy? The enemy, the flesh. Your devil is the flesh, your flesh. And Paul said, let me see that thing that's good to me. It's death for me. Read 14th verse. Read.
For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold unto sin. But that which I do, I allow not. But what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that I do.
He said, but what I hate, that do I. He said, you know what I do? He said, I find myself doing what I hate. My heart don't want it, but my flesh do, and I find myself doing what I hate. Freedom ain't being able to do what you want to do. Freedom is being able to do what God says do. Amen. Freedom, you become a slave to your own flesh. It taking you to hell, and you know it, and you really don't want to go, but you just can't stop. 16th verse, what it say?
If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that is good. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not.
Paul said, now this is the apostle who writing the Bible. He's saying how to perform that which is good. He said, I find not. He said, but let me make it clear to my own self. In my flesh dwelleth no good thing. My flesh ain't no good. He said, let me tell myself the truth. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to myself. He said, for I know that in me, that is my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. Don't sit in here and lie to yourself just because you got the Holy Ghost. Amen. Somebody needs to realize I need some help in my flesh. Yes. My flesh acting up, but I want to live for God. I want to live this way. 19th verse, what it say?
For the good that I would do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do.
He said, I look like I really was going ahead and do the evil. I know how to do the evil. My heart over here want to live for God, but I know how to do the evil, and that's what I do. Keep on reading. 21st verse.
No.
Romans 7 and 21.
I find then a law, that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
He said, every time I do good, you got to be careful who you hang around. If you're going to do better, you can't hang around the same old people who you was hanging around when you weren't doing no good. If you're going to want to change, you got to change the whole process. He said, when I do good, evil is present with me. Because you're going to have to deal with that even if you cut certain people loose. I told you all I got to do is look at, see who people hang with and who they feel comfortable with, and that tells me about them. Because two can't walk together except they agree. That's why you see people distance me. When somebody want to hang around me, I know they try. It don't mean they're there, but they don't mind me telling them the truth. You hang around me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Something ain't right, I'm gonna tell you. Byron over there staying at the house with me, I have my talks with him. I just tell him why, cause he around me, and if he gonna be around me, he gonna understand how I live. Wasn't Byron, but one of the other brothers was staying with me a little while, and I went in the room and they had the TV on, and there was some cussing or something. I said, hey, you don't play that in here. I said, you don't look at the movies around here. I said, yes, sir. I said, okay, all right, and I ain't have no more problem with them. I have no more problem with them trying to do something like that. But if they're around people, that's why I was telling you about the movie. Tell me what movie y'all can go to and there ain't no cussing, ain't no half nudity or homosexual or something. What somebody said, Frozen. So you 16, 17 years old, you want to see Frozen? You probably already seen it. What is Frozen in there? Incredible who?
You got Incredibles.
Oh, how old you, Z? How old you?
21.
21. And you looking me in my face and you telling me that you want to go to the movies and see The Incredible.
I already seen it. Wow.
And we don't want to see it again.
And what?
We don't want to see that again.
Come on now, y'all be real. Don't be acting churchy.
No,
Come
I
on,
like
we
it.
want to see The Incredibles. You gonna get in that movie and then you gonna sneak into the other movie after you done paid to go in the other movie. That's what you gonna do. You just paid to go to see Incredibles, and you gonna be in there. If loving you is wrong, well, I don't want to be right. That's a movie. Now I ain't got nothing against the movies now, but I'm saying, can you handle going down there looking at that? I don't even look at the stuff. Byron and Mama Clouds and they were looking at one of my shows last night, The Virginian. And you gonna look that up. That's Western when I was a little boy, and it's still good to me. You ain't gotta worry about no cussing. When they take their clothes off, they got on bloomers. And it's all the way down to the knees. It's knees. That's what drawers is, knees. They down to your knees. That's the nudist you gonna get. You can see an ankle bone, you done saw something. You done saw, man, she's showing her ankle. And then she's back there talking about The Incredibles. So y'all live, ain't y'all doing y'all little fellowship tonight?
Yes, sir.
So all y'all going with the fellowship with Z? Well, now Kayla already done said it. All y'all want to go to see The Incredibles? Any one of y'all want to go to see? That's what y'all going to see?
No, sir, we're going to the park.
Okay. So who over there would like to go to see The Incredibles? Y'all better follow y'all leader. Y'all better follow the leader. Z the one who put that group together. Can she get the young sisters and do a fellowship? Y'all better, your leader want to go to The Incredibles, and I think that's where I need to let y'all go.
If she can for everybody, I'll go.
All that's telling you they do not want to go to The Incredibles. What verse we stopped at? Okay, let's go to 22. What it say?
For I delight in the law of God after the inward man, but I see another law in my members.
You need, okay, I delight after the law of God after the inward man. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Now, Paul said in the 23rd verse, he said, I see another law in my body. Read.
Warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then with the mind I myself serve the law of God, but with the flesh the law of sin.
You got to understand, I wrote a highlight in the notes here. Pray that what you want is changed to what God wants you to have. Let God change your heart because you want to live right for God. You got to want what he wants you to have because you need, somewhere down the road, you got to admit, my flesh ain't no good. My flesh trying to take me down another avenue, and I really love God. I really want to live for God. But my flesh, it wants something else. So Paul called it, he said, there's another member in me. I didn't know my flesh was against me. Because the whole time when you was in the world, you just went along with your flesh. So you and your flesh was in agreement. And now you come to God, your heart, your spirit want to go towards God. And here there's your flesh showing you, look here, I was never with you. I was for myself. So Paul says, another member in my body warring against me. I really want to live for God, but my flesh trying to take me another direction. Psalms 119:5. What it say?
Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes.
It said, Lord, if you could just help me take my ways and direct it to you. My ways trying to go another direction. 32nd verse. Psalm 119:32. What it say?
I will run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart.
You got to let him change your heart. You come in with this stony heart, with what you feel you like, what you want, and you holding on to it, and he got to change your heart. When you change your heart going to connect with his commandments. It's going to connect with the kingdom. I tell the young people, give God a year of you just trying to live for him. 1 year. And then you won't have to deal with a whole lot of things dealing with your flesh. Give him, I consecrated myself through fasting, deep fasting. We was going on, first I was doing 6 months out the year. Then we went to 40-day fasting. You remember that? Y'all remember that? 40-day fasting. Then we went to 50-day fasting. We were going 50-day fasts. And consecrated myself. That's when I started experiencing eyes have not seen, ears have not seen. When you see that kind of stuff, ain't no way you're going to deal. If you could see the devil as the devil and sin is sin, and if you could see, if just like Samson saw that good-looking woman and know when that woman finished with him that he was going to commit suicide, if he would have saw that, because what you going after could be, you could be looking the devil right in the face and you say, oh, I sure like that. Looking at the devil right in his face. And the whole time, my job is to take him out. 2 Corinthians 6:17. It's on your paper. What it say? It's the next one. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separated, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing. I will receive you. You got to come out from. It's good that y'all forming your own little group. That's good. But somebody in there got to be a leader, or that group will be corrupt too. Amen. If somebody don't turn around and say, hey, we ain't going, Bishop ain't around, we ain't finna do the same. We ain't come out the park and do say, hey, what's that music you playing? What's that you looking over there? Yes. We ain't come out here for this, huh? Amen. It's supposed to be a holy fellowship. Yes. Or the person gonna be scared and weak. I don't want to. That's them. I ain't gonna bother nobody. You need to recognize the spirit that want to corrupt the fellowship. You need to recognize when somebody in y'all little group sitting there, I don't want to do that. I don't even want to be over here with y'all. Let me call my boyfriend while I'm with y'all. You know, they need to take their little happy tail on down the road, and then y'all continue fellowship with the people who want to fellowship with.
Amen.
Why you think I'm so disliked? I am disliked in just about every environment I go in. They just don't like Bishop, they don't like the Southern District, you know, because I'm holiness. I ain't trying to be like, and a lot of y'all too got people who thinking that I have y'all looking like Raggedy Ann and all that. I ain't never told you to dress like no Raggedy Ann. I ain't told you to look like you ain't got number 3 cent. You can go down there and you go to Walmart and get a cheap dress and make it look expensive.
So can, Bishop.
When Sister Tanya and Minister Wayne got married, that wedding gown, you would have thought that she went down, that was her prom gown she had on. They just put a train on it. I think it was a paper train. As long as you don't step on it, it was fine. It looked good. Mr. Wayne went down. I said, go up to looking good and get you a suit that you can wear to Sunday when you're wearing nowhere. He went down there looking good. His wedding suit was from looking good. Matter of fact, he bought 2 for $150. And then for about 2 or 3 years after that, he said, Bishop, this is a suit I had on. You told me to get a suit that I can wear to church. I'm still wearing this suit. People back then were renting tux, paying $175 for a tuxedo. And I said, man, go down there and buy you a suit, then you can be wearing that to church after you got married, you know. And if he put it on now, he'll tell me, hey, this is my wedding suit here. I still got it. It's a miracle you can still wear it. You know. Y'all love the Lord? Psalms 119, 173 is on your paper. It's the next one. Go ahead.
Let thine hand help me, for I have chosen thy precepts.
You're going to need somebody to help you. You're going to need God to help you. You're going to need somebody. Y'all can be strength one to another. You can encourage one another. But the worst thing you could do is when you're weak, hang around somebody who don't want to do no better. You don't need to be hanging around somebody who, oh, it's all right. I understand. I do the same thing. You don't need to be around that. And you need to realize when you start trying to live right, people going to turn on you who ain't trying to live right.
Amen.
I'm trying to do better. So I don't go to people and say, I'm trying to do better. I don't want to hang with you. I just do it. I don't tell them. I'm trying to do better, so I don't hang with you. You know, when I first got saved, I messed up. I was going to tell people, you know what? Lord told me not to be around you. Man, I stayed in trouble. I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that. You know, the Lord told me to get away from somebody. And I go, hey, the Lord told me to get away from you. You know, and boy, I done made another enemy. How the Lord gonna tell you to get away from me? See, I said, see that? That's right there. That's why he told me to get away from you. The way you acting right now. That's why he told me to get away from you. Man, I had people mad at me all the time. So you don't go around telling people that. God told you, put it in your spirit, what to do. You just do it. Psalms 119, 176. What it say?
I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek thy servant, for I do not forget thy commandments.
Make sure when you're first attacking you, you go to the right people. They're going to remind you of the scripture. Help to encourage you. And that's the process that you want. You don't have to die in your flesh.
Amen.
Just because your flesh wants something, and even if you fail in it, it don't mean you have to live there. You could get back up again. You just got to change what you embrace. If you sinking and somebody throw out a lifeline, you got to make sure there ain't no anchor weight, something that gonna pull you down. You can't be around people who's sinking and going down, and then you talking about, you know what, I'm trying to do better. So y'all can go and sit over there and play the music. I sit over here by myself, but you still hear it.
Amen.
They're like saying, y'all can sit over there smoking marijuana. I sit over here, I don't smoke marijuana. The smoke coming over there.
So
I understand the secondhand smoke worse than the firsthand smoke. I guess God intended to kill them. Oh, you gonna hang around them? So the one who said you smoke a cigarette, you be around a person that smoke a cigarette. That smoke that they blow out is worse than the smoke that they suck on firsthand. You getting the cigarette smoke and the cigarette smoke that came through their cancerous body. You gonna hang around them. Y'all love the Lord?
Amen.
Matthew 26:41. Read.
Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.
The perfect example of how a person in their heart, they want to live, they want to do for God, but their flesh weak. And God even understands. When he was asking the disciples to come pray with him, this is the conclusion he came to. He said, now, I see your spirit. You really want to do this. He said, but your flesh weak. And all he wanted them to do was just pray with him, but they fell asleep. St. John 7:17, what it say?
If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God or whether I speak of myself.
Well, there's one thing I do know, that when a person leaves or backslide, the only way you're going to know if they are of God or not, one, they'll never let go of doctrine. And two, they can never stay away. That's how you know if a person belongs to God. In 1 John, I think in 7th chapter, it says it had to be manifested. If they left from us, it had to be manifested that they were never among us. A person that can leave and stay away, they were never one of us. Because the person that really belonged to God, just like Minister Dunn. Minister Dunn, he periodically been talking to me, but it's signs. And when I went and prayed for Minister Visa the other day, with the speaking of tongue of meter, you know, I don't know how many bills he done had. But the moment he come in an environment, because God, when God be dealing with you, he be dealing with you. You could be in your flesh, in your sin, and God will deal with you. Why? Because you belong to him.
Yes.
He won't leave you alone. You could be in your sin. You could be in your mess. And none of us around, but God right there with you, in your sin, in your mess, and you thinking about God. Somebody over here smiling and happy, and you over here, Lord, man, I'm messed up.
Lord.
They don't even feel what you feel.
Yes.
They don't even feel what you feel. You feeling something totally different. They're over there happy. They're just having a good time with you, and you over here thinking about, man, I done messed up. God come on your mind. You ought to be glad God still bothered with you. You ought to be glad he won't leave you alone. You know, I was telling Shanice, you know, I know it'd be so rough on her. You know, she trying so hard to be saved, and all kind of obstacles be throwing at her. As long as she was down here on drugs, ain't nobody bothered with her about nothing about her money. And now the moment she leave and try to get, now they want to take her money. Want to live for God. You know, threatening her. You know what they're saying? Go back on the streets and get on drugs, and I'll let you keep your money. I don't want you. You need to know who to cut loose.
Amen.
I don't care how close they are to you. You need to know when somebody ain't good for you. Because there are some people come in your life, every time you get around them, you sin. I don't care what your heart talking about, you in love with them. If you round a person that make you sin, then you round your own enemy. Because if they're so-called in love with you, they're supposed to be in love with your God.
Amen.
You don't supposed to want nothing. Because
Yes.
whatever gift you got to be able to bring it to the altar. You can't have something and you can't bring it to God's altar. You can't have no woman, you can't have no man, you can't have nothing that you can't bring your gift to the altar. If you got a spouse, then you're going to be able to bring your spouse. Even if they ain't saved. Well, y'all can't do it, but I'm talking about before you, if you was, like me and my wife was married before we got saved, you know. Some of the saints, they was already married and they got in the church, and some of them spouses are not in the church, but they're in the church. But at least you get down there and pray about your spouse. You can pray about it. But you can't bring God something that ain't legal to him. Somebody called me the other day and they was concerned about what was going on in their marriage, and I know their marriage ain't in the will of God, and problems could be trying to get the person saved. You got a problem when the thing that's deaf to you and is good to you, and there ain't no problems with it. Problem come, God trying to say, I told him, I said, man, God trying to save both of y'all. Just can't save both of y'all together. You know, well, I see things going a certain way. I said, the Lord's desire is to save both of y'all. It just can't save y'all together. Somebody got to go to hell if we stay together. And to me, man, who want that kind of love? That's not love you to death. Okay, we're going to be together, and one of us going to go to hell, and one of us going to go with Jesus. And what it is, the one that died first, they go to hell. You know, every time you get sick, oh Lord, please, Lord, keep me alive. You know, man, what kind of marriage you gonna have? Well, let her go. Let him go first. Don't let him go. I got good insurance. I'm free. Be around there praying on these for God and for somebody to knock them off before they knock you off. What kind of marriage you gonna have? How you gonna be happy in that? Y'all love the Lord? Amen. Keep walking in the Spirit. Keep watching and walking in the Spirit. Galatians 5:16 and 17.
This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would.
There's a war going on the inside of you to try to stop you from living right. It's on the inside of you, and it's a fight. Your flesh, and that's, look at that capital S, that's Holy Ghost, against the Spirit. Your Holy Ghost inside of you, because the devil's gone, because God ain't going to be in there with no demons. So now you got the Holy Ghost and you. And God saying, look, you ain't going to be in control neither. If you do, I'm finna show you where you going to take you. You going to take you to hell. Because all that stuff that's good to your flesh is death to you. So let me identify what's not good to me. Y'all love the Lord? All right. Any questions? I'll finish the rest of it tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Saturday? Yes, Elise.
You got should I tell you a question?
What is it?
I thought you could see it.
Okay, what she put it on?
Like YouTube?
It's a text or what?
It's a text. I think it's a text.
Okay, she sent it to me?
No, it's about on your tablet.
Well, that's probably in my phone. Read it to me. Read it to me.
I thought you had to get it.